Okay, so now that we finish our front page, so let's move on to the tag list page. Okay, so when we get here, this will be at dashboard page.tsx. So now that we make sure that we put the username into the local storage. Okay, so then when we get here the first time, let's make sure that we load it up from the local storage, and we don't need this guy anymore. We fix that later. So I'm going to reuse the ta task user here. We already have that usage. So I'm going to change this a little bit so that actually string is fine. Sorry. But I'm going to change this to have a type of string or now. So if I cannot put load thing from the local storage, it will be now. That's the reason. Okay. So since this is client component, so I'm still gonna have to do use effect. So I'm going to use effect with I need this to run the first time it's coming up, so that's our criteria. It takes a function. Okay, so I'm going to load things just like what we did, similar to what we did to not to what we did when we press the button. We put the username into the local storage. So now let's just load it back up. Okay. And then let's set it to our state. No. And you must set it to the correct one. Thus it is. Okay, so when we get in here, we're already going to have a username, which we just press. Let me see if I already. Okay, we already used the variable. So now that, let me see if I already ran the server. Already did. So let me refresh a little bit just to make sure that it's already compiled and stuff. So let's say I'm going to do the YYY. Okay, it's not coming up yet. So let me check. So here, there's a task list for task user. Actually, let me change this first. Because I'm not sure that there's something in here that change the value or not. Okay, let me just initialize this state to empty array. So basically this just going to give us always give us the empty list. Okay, I don't need initial link. Okay, let me just get rid of that. So here I have a task user, and I'm going to have set tags. I don't care about that. let me take this out as well, just in case it does something weird. Wait. Um, so that that actually doesn't matter. But let me take off all the use effect just to make sure that there's nothing affecting the data that I'm using right now. Okay, let me check. So I'm going to do when we get to the dashboard page, we're going to do a tag user. We do use effect, and then we get item, and then we set the task user. Let me log this. Let me make sure of one thing. Okay, that's a correct server. Ah, okay. So probably there's some use effect that affecting mine the value of that tag user here. So now that I just get rid of them. So now when we get to the dashboard page, the page of TXX under dashboard, we load the username from the local storage, and we got this. So now let call our API to load the tasks. We have this list of tasks here, which we use to load it up from the local storage. Now we don't need that anymore. So let's do another use effect. Oops. Okay. And this should depend on the task user here. So every time that the task user value change, we should call this. So that's why we cannot put them into the same use effect because the condition or dependency are different. Okay. So let's start. For this, we're going to check just to make sure that if task user is now, we're not doing anything. So we just leave the tag list empty. But if it's not, then we're going to call a function. Okay. So I'm going to add another um I'm going to add another state called is loading again. Just so that just to make sure that we control the state of the page. So when it's loading, we should not reload or do something else. So this we're going to default to true. Okay, so that because this page we're gonna have to load it up anyway. So if it is loading, then we're not going to reload it. So so now this is where we're going to load our data. So I'm going to do set is loading to true, just in case we already finished loading and stuff. And then I'm going to do fetch Here is in the use effect. It actually um you can actually do .den and .cache. The reason is that fetch return promise, actually let me commit that. Fetch return promise and the use effect function here doesn't support async function. Let's see. So we can do two things. We can make this into the use effect. We can create a function. We can create a synchronous function that is be a function statement and then run it later. Or we can just use the .den and .fetch. We can just fetch and use the .den and .cache as the according to the pattern of promise. Okay. Um, Actually, we can try the approach of asynchronous because we actually do that a few times, but you please don't remember it. So basically, you can do something like const um, function. So I'm going to wrap this whole thing here inside a function again. Okay, and this is going to be a synchronous function. And okay, we can call it later here. So yeah, and then we will just write whatever we want inside this unnamed this function fn here, and then we call it. So now now that we have async, now we can await. Now we can await as usual. So then we can say const res equal to async await. Just because too used to a single word, I don't want to use .den and ashamed of .den anymore. But if you like, you can still use fetch and .den and .then. It works the same way. So what are we fetching here? Wait, I'm going to need backtick again. Where did I put it in last time? Do I have it here? Nope. Okay, fair enough. Let me try. Yep. Okay, what are we fetching? The API that we already created right here. So ladies data. Oh, I used it on the other page. Now I remember. Tags user equal. So basically the same thing that we did on this page. Now that I remember. So we're going to load our the tag list of our user from Redis. And remember that I use the username as a key. So here, that's a key. So I will just use this as a key to load it back up. Now, this is going to give us a response. So let turn it into an array of task data. Okay, so that hopefully give us the task data. So what we do with this, we set task because that is the state that we have right here. And now we can set is loading to false because we finished loading. Now FALSE. Okay, so here this is the case where we have task user. So we go through the step of loading stuff, and this is actually our happy case. So let's do the try, because sometimes if you fetch it print not success all the time. So it's a good idea that you do try catch for that. I'm just going to log so that I know that there's an error. And then whatever I'm going to say that set is loading, I'm going to set it to false because it's not loading anymore and it should be able to load again. Okay, going to do the same thing with the case where we don't have the task user available as well. So this state variable, actually I'm just using it just in case that if we are like in the middle of loading. Okay, let's see. So here we're gonna go back. Okay, it actually is already showing up. So let's check if it's the one that we load is actually the correct one. Task 1 completed, task 2 in progress. That's good. Let's try Sukanya next. So that's task 1 and task 3. So that's great. We already have our task list showing up. Okay. So next, and when we click that, that actually, I'm actually confused about the highlight. We fix that here. We definitely add this dashboard, but it's highlight here. Well, we talk about that later. When we go to add tags here, this is not working yet. This actually work. Okay, I will just make a list of what I should do. Okay, so next that we should do is that, well, let's pause. It changed both to pending, so that's not good. Okay, and I actually didn't think it would work. It pretty should not work. So if we look at our database, no, that's not our database. If we look at our database, you would notice that nothing changed, which is supposed to be correct because we not doing, we're not updating the button here yet. So let's go back. Okay. Here when we come back, so we have all these handle parts here, and this actually the reason. So we just have all these previous code that we write. So we're going to have to update all these stuff. Okay, so the way we do is that, so we still have our task list that we need to update as well. We still going to use this map to create a new task, um to create list of tasks, basically to create list of tasks. So we're going to change the status to pending. So basically we take in the ID, and then actually let me make this look easier, make it easier to trace. Synchronicity const new task, so that will give us another list. Oop, oop. Okay, that's great. So the idea here is that we're going to map, if this is the ID that we want. um, so basically if the ID task.id is equal to the ID that we receive here, um, we take everything from that element, change the status to pending. If it's not the same as the ID, just use that task as it is. Okay, so that will give us another array. Remember .map gave us the other array. So now that we have set tasks, this only update to the state. Remember, this is our when we do set tasks, it update our state, but it doesn't do anything else yet. So whatever we have in Redis still takes the same value. So let's make another function. So right here, I'm just going to make all declaration here and use effect later. So const, so we're going to do save tags. So I'm going to create a function. Okay, what this function going to take? It take new tags, which of the site tags type array. Okay, so basically the same as what we have here. And what we do with it? So if we check that we actually have task user, this is just to be safe, and then we fetch. Okay, now we have to send the data and have it saved there. Wait a minute, we don't have that API yet. So now we're going to go back to this route handler, and this is when we create our first post. Actually, not the first post, the actual post function that we going to use. Okay, so just like what we do with get export ASYNC, this will be post, and we're going to need the same parameter. So we're going to take that request. Okay, so I'm going to pass in the task user with the search parameter as usual. Not sure why, but I did that like that before. You can actually put this in the body. Oh, I know, because simply throwing the task list in the body is easier to build the JSON. So that's why I throw task user right here. But if you like, you can keep everything in the body. So now I have it. Let me just put this in. Okay. So let's check again. So if you don't have that, I'm going to say that task user is required. Then this is what we need. So we're going to read the body. Remember, just like what we did in our test. CONST. This is going to be an object of an array called tags. Don't ask me why it has to be this way, because we're going to make a JSON this way. Okay. So remember this. Remember this property. We're going to have to build our header. Not the header. We have to going to build the body of our post to have the JSON that match these properties. So let's check if we actually send it. So if we can't read that property, again, we're going to return the error status. So notice that here you're going to always return next response, whether it's error or success, because if you don't return the response, then the other side going to only get the quiet treatment, okay, which is not good. I required it. Okay, so now that we check both case, we're going to connect to Redis. So just like what we did with our get, we're going to get the client first, and now we're going to put it. So we used to set, so now we used to get, so now we set. It will be actually similar to this. I'm just using the similar approach. So basically the JSON going to contain the whole task list. So I will just set it at the root part anyway. And then I put it to the tags. And now we return the response. Here we don't have to return the task list anymore. Remember, this is somebody else already put this list to us. It will be a waste of resources to just return the same list back. So here I will just return the response with status status. Okay, and we just return the status back. So tell that the data is actually fine. If you like, you can test it with Postman. But I'm actually going to go on trust here because I think this we didn't do anything special with it. So let's get back to our page. Not sure where, here. So now that we have the function, so let's use it. So basically in save tags, we're going to fetch. I didn't do a wait here, just because this I didn't need anything back from it. I was just going to call the function. So we're going to fetch this, and this is going to be long. Okay, so fetch, we're going to need to give it the URL. So this is the easy part. So we go to Redis data. I'm just going to do the same thing that I put tags user equal to and I use the wrong tick again. Okay, so that's our API. Remember that we used to do the same thing here. Now, if we just do this, it will go to get. So it won't go to the post function that we just wrote. So you're going to have to force it by giving this additional information. Okay, so this will be the information that you get. Gave is for the fetch. I'm just going to put this onto the same line just to save space. Okay, so now the information that I'm going to give is the method. I need post. What else? You're going to have to give it the header because we're going to pass the task list, right, as a JSON. So let's create the header. There's a few things that will be created for us anyway, but the important thing is that you have to say that content dash type is application slash JSON. So it's the same header that we see in Postman before. This is to allow the request object to be able to interpret the body that we're going to put in later on. Let me check. I don't want to have misspell content dash type application slash JSON. That's good. Okay, so now important stuff, body. Remember that we used to set tags before. This has to be a string, so we're going to use an object called JSON and function stringify. So this going to get our object. This function going to take our object and convert it into the JSON string. Okay, and this is the task stuff that I told you to remember. I say that my object going to have a property called tags, and the value going to be the new tags that I get. So that's why in my handler or my API, I'm looking for these properties because I'm sending it this way. Does it make sense? Okay. So we have saved tags. Let's get back to handle parse and just call it. This will update the screen. This will update Redis. Okay. So here, let's get back. Okay. So let me pause this. So this is going to pending, which is good. Let's look at our Redis database. So this also going to pending as well. Okay, and it doesn't affect this one. So we're going to do the same thing with our handle for button. Okay, so here I'm going to have to take this out because I need the value for saving it. So I put this back to take this out. Yeah, I'm going to put a semicolon here. It doesn't complain right now, doesn't mean it's not gonna complain all the time. So we can set tags with new tags, and then we save tags. To start, we'll just change the properties to in progress. Complete again, we'll just change the properties into completed. And we just copy the 2 lines. Oops. Okay, delete is a little bit different, but it's probably going to be implemented, updated the same way. So these tags, what we're doing here is that we're going to keep only the tags that the ID is not the same as what we receive here. So basically, actually, it's the same thing. So we're going to get a new array anyway, because I was using the same mechanism for updating all the status. So here, and then do this. Okay, so now this should work for all the button again. Now it should work for all the button again. And I'm actually going to put a button. Now I'm going to put a button for locking out somewhere. Okay. I think we use, let me see. We have add tags right here. We have add tags right here. How about copy another button right here. Let me see, where's my add tags here. So what I'm doing is I just don't want to type the URL anymore. So I'm going to do lockout. I'm going to change the text name. That's too much. That's too red. Still too red for me. How about that? Okay. Okay. Let's see how it's come out. I really need a space. So margin. Yeah, let's do around here. My no, mx. Let's do like 2, 4. Okay, look nice. So I have this button here that I'm going to hook it to click. So when you click, it will take us to log out. I don't have that yet. Let's say that we're going to have this function. Okay, fine. Just going to put it right here. And this handle lockout, I'm going to do the same thing with the rest, just to keep the pattern going. Okay, so when we lock out, what I'm going to do is to delete the username in the local storage. and kick it back to the front page. I should already have this because we kick it somewhere else before. I believe not. Why? Didn't I have add? Oh, because I haven't hooked the add tags yet. I thought that we already have it. So let's just do the same thing with the other page. So we're gonna have to create the router first. From use router. You can name it other thing else. But people keep using router and it know as a glance that well it just the router object. Okay. So now add logout. What we did is we do local storage and then we just kick it to the front page. And the add task that hasn't worked so far, the add tag that hasn't worked so far, I probably should hook this action as well. So when we press add tags, we should kick it to the add tags page right here. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on click. Since I'm just kicking it, so I can just add the function, I think. Router dot push, because we didn't do anything complicated. Slash add tags. Okay, let's see if that works. And then if it doesn't work, it's fine. Let me see. Use router. Next router was not mounted. What did I forget? I'm using this router from user navigation. I need navigation. Okay, so when I do add tags, fine, come back. If I do logout, that's good as well. Okay. And then logout. So here, I can pause. Well, if I pause, I should be able to start. Okay. Pause, start, fine. I can complete. And this thing will be gone. I can delete. And when I check on Redis, Sukanya should already have one task. Good. Okay. We hasn't has a way to log out yet. So that what we're going to do next in add tags. And since this actually take a long time already, I'm going to continue on in the next video again. Sorry, and see you guys later.